Hey everybody, Scarpad with Scarpad's Comic Tricks. The long and winding road has taken us on a journey, finally, to episode 10 of Star Trek Picard, the season finale. I'm just kind of exhausted. This episode, I guess, we can be grateful this episode really did wrap the story up, and it didn't leave it with a cliffhanger that would have sucked, because it's coming back next year with another new showrunner, Mark Bernardin, I believe it is, that's worked on DC and Kevin Smith's shows and is taking over as yet showrunner number whatever. And maybe he'll be able to put this on the right path. So the episode opens basically with where we left off last time. The Borg cube has crashed on the planet of the Synths, and Picard ships crashed there, and the show starts off with basically on the Picard ship, they fix it using, the writing on the show is just, is still whacked. And basically, they come up with this device that comes out of nowhere that, unless they had it early in an episode, I don't know. But basically, the device works on magic. You just put it on your fingers like brass knuckles, and you think about things being repaired, and then all of a sudden the ship is just fixed. Engines were fused, shit. They crashed, and everything was broken. But think about fixing it, and voila, the ship is just fixed. So after they fix that, the Romulan dude there, Narek, happens to go into the Borg cube to meet up with his not dead sister, because we saw that she, I guess, beamed out, but yet she's still there. I don't know. Beamed away somehow from when the Borg were trying to kill her, and he manages, even though he's coming around, they show him coming into the cube, he manages to come into the same exact entrance split that Picard and company walked into last time. Good luck. That's how they don't have to make another set or redesign anything. So he sneaks. We get Elron and Seven sitting down talking and drinking, and he slips by him and meets up with his sister, who has some other nefarious plan that she's going to do, and he gets some grenades. He goes off to Picard's ship, and he says, he starts throwing rocks at the ship and says, well, I'm a good guy because I wouldn't be throwing rocks at the ship. Look, I got all these grenades, and we got to take down the beacon that the Synths are calling these destroyers from. Elron finally shows up, and he's going to slice his head off like he's done with everybody else in the show, and they convince him not to do it. And they band together. Their big plan is to go in and really, Rios hides this device that's going to destroy the thing in a soccer ball, in a fucking soccer ball. Because I guess he's Latino, something Latino, and of course all they do is play soccer, And when he walks into the Synth thing with the soccer ball, the Synth goes, oh, a soccer ball, do you play? Oh, fucking me. So they go and they're bringing the Romulan back because he killed Soji's sister, or one of Soji's relatives. What the fuck happened? And in the meantime, Soong, who's not Data Lore, is not Lore as everybody thought he was. He's just another brother of Soong. Finds out that the Romulan didn't kill her. That Sutra killed her to let the Romulan out. And that's all he needs to see, and all of a sudden he just switches sides and joins up with the Picard's crew, and plans to allow the Synths to destroy the beacon that they're bringing down. Now they have 20 or 30 of these flowers are going to attack the Romulan, the orchids, going to attack the Romulan ships, and so anyways, Picard gets Dr. Girardi breaks out Picard out of the captivity. They go to the Alantara, the Picard ship. They get up in the air, and a lot of name dropping. She drops the Picard maneuver that we heard back in the original series, Next Generation, where ships can be multiple places at once. Of course, she's a scientist. Why would she just know the Picard maneuver that, she didn't go through Starfleet. She's a scientist. I don't know. So they get something similar. She just happens to have this device that can do it. Just like the other guys happen to have a device that's going to fix the ship. She happens to have a device that's going to, make it appear like they got, a million ships when they only have one. So they do that, and that doesn't fool the Romulans. And all this time, Picard's starting to, stroke out because of his problem with his head there. But he manages to, stay alive long enough to get him through the situation. Meanwhile, on the planet, they, between Picard talking to Soji, she decides to eventually destroy the beacon. These like caterpillar robot things are coming out of the void. Those are what's going to destroy the universe. That we never learn what they are. I think they were going to learn that in Discovery, though, I think. And, meanwhile, the Federation shows up, and of course all the ships look like, I think they all look like the same fucking ship. It's like they just replicated all the ships. They have a couple different designs, but they all look like Discovery ships, so what does it matter anyways? And, surprise, surprise, Will Riker's there. And we get a nice little scene with Will Riker talking to Picard and, and staring down the Commander O, the Romulan, and that's kind of a nice throwback. That's kind of a Star Trek scene. There's a couple of them in this episode, but the lazy writing and the abysmal story is just so. Because the beacon's destroyed and they show that they're good synths now, the Romulans decide to leave and Federation leaves. You think they bring all these ships there, and now there's gonna be a, they're going to protect this planet, but all the fucking Federation ships just go. They leave. Picard's dying. Riker just fucking, I got to go make pizza again. I'm fucking gone. I've had enough. And they just fucking leave. And that's it. And, spoiler, Picard dies. Yeah, he dies. And they all cry. And they all have touching scenes. And none of it's fucking earned because we don't care about any of these fucking people. Maybe if it was Geordi and fucking Riker and Worf and Beverly, we don't know what the fuck happened to Beverly. Never did say. Maybe we'd fucking, shed a little tear for Picard, But none of it got to me, even though I'm a huge Star Trek fan, a huge Picard fan. I give two shits about it because... I could care less if Elron is crying and Raffi is crying, and I don't care. Oh, I forgot to say that Seven was on the Borg cube and she killed the Romulan Nerek's sister there finally. She kicked her over and murdered her. Not that she didn't deserve to be murdered, but at least you could try to save her. At least even in Star Trek 3 when Kirk was kicking Christopher Lloyd, the Klingon's ass, and he was trying to kill him. He was hanging over the cliff, and he tried to give him his hand. He tried to pull him up because he's a Starfleet fucking officer. He tried, and then he kept on trying to pull him down into the fire, into the chasm. And Kirk did his, "I have had enough of you," and he kicks him over the cliff and kills him. But he tried to save him at least a little bit, even though he probably didn't want to. So, everybody's crying, and then we get a kind of a nice scene, but once again, nice scenes in this show are unearned because the story and the writing is so fucking abysmal. We get, we get that scene between Picard and Data in the afterlife, and Data, they have this thing where, oh, you never told me you loved me, and that's the whole thing. I mean, Picard respected Data as an officer. He liked him as much as any of the other crew, as much as Riker and Beverly and Troy and all those. He never loved Data. He never had that big thing. It wasn't a Kirk and Spock relationship with McCoy. It wasn't like that with the other crew because they had so many different characters. But this show has shifted all that because that's the story they want to tell. And ultimately, it came down that Data just wanted his engrams to die, because he was dead. He destroyed his physical body, but yet Maddox and Soong had his engrams, and they used that for experimentation and do all the other synths. But he just wanted to pull the plug on that and die. Everybody wants to fucking die in the show. Die, die, die. Even fucking Seven says during the show, I could have just taken a phaser and shot my fucking head off and died. Everybody's so fucking depressed and dying, and it's just. But there was a nugget of a story there with Data wanting to maybe be the ultimate, make the ultimate human sacrifice by dying. He killed his physical body, but he didn't kill his consciousness, which was always locked in this place. And that's a story that could have been told. And that part of the story could have been good, but they bungled the execution of it. Just the way they got there and all the crap they just either forgot about or it just made no sense, didn't earn that ending. And the thing that really pissed me off is in the end they made fucking, he says, well, you gotta go, Captain, because these guys saved your ass. They beamed your fucking mind into this fucking android we saw earlier. So now Picard is a synth. Picard is Data. Oh, he's not immortal. He lived like a normal 140-year lifespan. But why? What was the point of that? I mean, it would have been cheesy as fucking hell if they did that with Patrick Stewart and then they had another actor play Picard. But that kind of almost would make sense. But to have Patrick Stewart now be a synth, but be played by Patrick Stewart, what's the fucking point of all that? Why make him that? Why did you have to even go there? There's so many things you could have done with his syndrome, and there's so many things you could have done. I don't know. This show is just terrible, and to see people who like it, I just don't understand. Great, if you like it, I guess, but it doesn't feel like Star Trek. The season, you could tell they had 15 fucking showrunners and producers, and none of them knew what the fuck they were doing, and the story moved from here to here to here, and then they had to fucking do some sort of magic to get it to end on some kind of note. It was a disaster of epic fucking proportions. And probably Picard is my most least favorite. I won't even say it's hated. I just don't like it. Star Trek series. It goes down to the bottom of the barrel. Yes, it's below Discovery. Discovery, while it had issues, didn't deal with people and characters we already knew and respected and liked. We didn't shit all over them and kill them off and make them do stuff that, whatever. I like the first thing that, the first thing Nerek's sister asked him when he came back is, did you fuck anybody? It's just so mindless and so, but it's over, thank God. I don't know what season 2, I mean, this would be a great place to stop. Picard is, let him go off on his adventures now. He's got a synth body and he can live for a few more years. I don't even know why they'd want to do a season 2 of the show. I don't see any benefit to it. And I don't know what they can do to it to make it better. It's just horrific. So I guess maybe I'll do another video and maybe look at the whole season, but I don't know. I think I pretty much spelled it all. Is that Star Trek Picard was a series that started off mediocre and got bad and worse as it went along. The writing was uneven. It was childish. Plot points were brought up and abandoned. And it did not have the spirit of Star Trek. It wasn't optimistic. Everybody on it was, fatalistic and troubled and flawed. And I almost looked at the end of it, it almost looked like 7-9 now is going to have a lesbian relationship with Raffi. That came out of the blue. I don't know what's happening there. It's not Star Trek. there's so many things you could do to make a show Star Trek, and this ain't it. It's just, it's not. So that's it for Star Trek Picard, and we move on next to Season 3 of Discovery, where Burnham and their crew, now in the late 30th century, is going to attempt to bring back the Federation, which I think has been destroyed by synthetic life or something. They're going to try to link them. Oh boy. So we'll catch you for those masterpieces. And until then, hey, thank you guys for watching. Keep reading. Keep trekking. And we'll catch you later.